Hey guys! This is the third and last episode of our mini-series on the cost of cruising, in which we compare the cost of sailing different boats full times. And yes, I have a little helper today. In the last two episodes, we've looked at a 32-foot ketch from 1974 and our own Beneteau Oceanis 40 from 2007. Now, if you want to start by watching those videos, you can do so by clicking at the link that's above my head, somewhere to the right or the left, or in the description below. In this video, we will take a closer look at our friend's Amel 54 from 2007 named Tanga. It is a gorgeous boat. Now, before we start, I want to mention the fact that Scott and Mie are the two people that I know that I have worked the most to both be able to purchase their boat and also to maintain it. For the weeks that we've spent together at the marina, Scott and Mie were working on Tanga from dawn to dusk. They do everything on their own and they work so hard because, as you're about to learn, taking care of a 54-foot sailboat is a lot of work. So beforehand, I hope that you will join me in thanking both Scott and Mie for taking the time for us to come record this video and also for opening up about their lifestyle on board Tanga. So with no further ado, let's go say hi to our friends on Tanga.
Hello!
So this is the mizzen back here. We were doing some maintenance, that's why the boom looks like that. But this is the center cockpit. A lot of boats have the cockpit in the aft part of the boat, so they call it aft cockpit. This is centered, so you feel quite safe in here. It's your little refuge when big waves are breaking over the boat or you're out there, it's blowing 40, 50 knots. The helm station on the Amels are a bit different because we're a little bit off center. Some people liken it to driving a car. Some people complain about it, but we like it. As you move forward, here's the mainsail. As we mentioned, everything in terms of sails, or not everything, but a lot of things on this boat are electric. So it's got the electric motors on here to pull the sail in and out. And then the two head sails, we got the Genoa up there, electric furler on that, and then also the staysail, which will use anything above 25 knots or so. So with the Amels, everything is, a lot of things are done with backups. So we typically use the starboard anchor. It's an oversized Vasi bugle. It's, I believe it's 44 kilos, which is about 30-40% larger than you're supposed to have on this boat. And then on the port side, we have an anchor that we typically don't use, but it's a delta anchor on a separate windlass if, for whatever reason, the starboard windlass dies.
Yeah, you should have Scott to go through the kitchen. He doesn't know where anything is.
Is that true, Scott?
That is true.
So this is our galley, our two fridges, and the water maker is in the galley as well. Dishwasher, microwave, the induction cooker is basically taking over our gas stove. And I think it's got everything you need in a kitchen. And it's really good when sailing, you have something to hold on to.
But when your boat heels, how do you do?
Yeah, it leans, yeah. So you can always hold this. That's, yeah, sometimes you get flown that way.
Cool.
But you can actually strap yourself in. I haven't tried that though.
That's right.
This is what we call the passageway, and this is the bed that Scott and I will use while on the passage. It has so you can take up like a lee board so you don't fall out, and it has also all our chart tables and instruction books and good stuff. And this is the aft cabin, and if any one of you follow Delos, this is actually what makes the Super Marmo different from the 54. The aft cabin is a lot bigger, a lot of storage space, and a lot of head space as well. So it's a really good aft cabin.
Ooh, oh, you have so much storage space under your bed.
Oh, I'm jealous. And it has ensuite toilet and shower as well.
Wow. Cool. Oh, hello, Captain.
Hey.
This is the saloon. Yeah, a lot of table space and yeah, 2 chairs here. Some actually has a berth here instead. And this is where we store our crew when they're here.
Do you store your crew?
Yes, yes. And 2 bunk beds and a separate cabin in here.
Wow, oh yeah, you do.
And 1 more head with shower and toilet.
And this is the infamous washing machine.
This is actually the dryer. The washing machine is here.
You have a dryer too?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh, this is cool.
Yeah, so I got into cruising life because I've always wanted to sail around the world, and you need a boat for that.
Yeah, I got into cruising life because I just love travel so much, and while I've done it with a backpack, there's something really nice about having your home with you all the time.
So I basically been kind of sailing all my life. I grew up by the ocean. I had my own small motorboat when I was very little. I sailed half a year on a container ship, and I've owned my own 22-foot sailboat for 7 years.
My experience prior to hopping on Tanga is I've been sailing on and off since around 2001 or so. Got a lot more serious a couple years ago. Went off, chartered some boats, and then, well, before that got my skipper's license, and then chartered a couple boats. And as Mia said, we've been on Tanga full time since 7 months now. Our ambitions in terms of the route, at least, is we want to do the trade wind route most of the way. So starting here in the Mediterranean, we've been sailing around the Mediterranean since the spring. And then pretty soon here we will leave the Med and then do the Atlantic crossing, spend some time in the Caribbean. We were originally just going to do it for a couple months as we raced out to the South Pacific, but the intent now is actually we're going to spend a season there. So sail there, maybe go up to the US, come back down to the Caribbean early next year, and then cross through the Panama Canal, and then South Pacific for probably 2 seasons. And then I think we are looking at going down to New Zealand for a bit, and then crossing up to Southeast Asia, sail around across Southeast Asia for a while, and then cross the Indian Ocean, down the east coast of Africa, around South Africa, and then come up the west coast.
My must-have list on the boat before I bought it was a dinghy, because there was no space for a dinghy on my 22-foot sailboat.
Which ironically was the one thing that we really didn't have on this boat. We had to buy that separately. We had a little small one that wasn't functioning very well, but for me it was the water maker. Really gives you a lot of independence, so you're not really reliant upon going to marinas.
I think we also quite quickly realized that a center cockpit is nice to have when you do ocean sailing.
Yeah.
And adds a safety aspect as well.
Yeah. And it sounds silly, but it wasn't a requirement, but the dishwasher is really nice.
It actually saves water.
And saves water, yeah, uses a lot less water than normal hand washing. The washing machine, funny enough, having it now and seeing what it's like not to have it, if I had to get another boat, I definitely would want to have it, because otherwise when you get to a new place, you got to find laundry services and deal with that, or you do it by hand, which is fine too. The ability to basically wash your clothes while you're sailing on solar power is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
We chose Tanga, and specifically the Amel 54 because we knew we'd be living on it for a few years. The important thing is that we're going to be about a boat for us is that we're going to be living on it, so we wanted the conveniences of home.
And we wanted something that is safe to cross oceans. A strong boat that can take us all the way around the world.
Yeah, so when you combine those two, I mean, the Amel, they really just design it to be comfortable, easy to sail, and bulletproof. People call this thing a tank. I mean, it's designed to cross oceans. So if you're just going to be sailing coastally around Croatia, for example, it's a bit pointless and actually more difficult to sail something like this. But if you're going to be crossing oceans, this is the boat.
Because we knew what we wanted to do with the boat, we wanted to sail around the world. We actually looked for a boat where we didn't have to add that much new stuff on it. So the major things that we upgraded when we got the boat was the solar panel and the lithium batteries. So an Amel is known for being a ketch, meaning 2 masts. So we have a smaller sail in the back called the mizzen, and a mainsail, and a genoa, a staysail, and then we have a code 0 and a spinnaker that is used for lighter downwind sail.
And then when it isn't windy, we have obviously an engine. It's a Volvo 110 horsepower. In terms of power for the rest of the boat, we have an 11 kilowatt generator, which will sort of the backup. We try not to use it much because we have a 1,000 watt solar array that we use to charge the batteries, which recently we changed everything out in the boat, and we have about 450 amp hours at 24 volts of lithium batteries, and that powers everything in the boat. We put a big inverter in there too, so we can run all of our normal household appliances without any concerns. 2 big chargers, so that way we can get everything charged up quickly if we need to run the generator.
So we have 900 liters of water tank, and actually the same amount in diesel. And we also have a water mega, can do 100 liters per hour.
So in terms of the conveniences that we talked about earlier, as we said, we wanted to have a boat that's like an apartment basically. So on board we have big refrigerator, and we have 2 other fridge freezers, so we can run them out there as a refrigerator or deep freezer. In terms of other appliances, we have a dishwasher, we have a microwave. Because of the lithium batteries, we cook primarily with induction. We have gas also, but generally we try to cook with induction. We have a 6 kilogram washing machine, just a regular household washing machine. We generally try not to use it, but we also have a separate clothes dryer. If it's raining or something and we need to get our clothes dried, we use that. We have a projector, so we got rid of the little TV, and we have a big projection screen that...
We actually also have AC.
Oh yeah, we have 3 separate air conditioning units, one for the saloon, one for the forward cabin, and one for the aft cabin, and those also function as heaters. Hopefully we don't have to use that part too much.
Okay, now let's talk about the appliances that you do not have.
We don't have a massage chair. We were thinking
No.
about that.
No wine fridge or...
Although the second fridge kind of functions as a wine / fruit and vegetable fridge. I mean, I think the best thing about the ML54, and specifically Tanga, is that it's safe. I mean, we can go out there. We were out there, it was blowing 45 knots. We were sitting in the center cockpit. I mean, the waves were 4, 5, some of them 6 meters. You develop confidence in the boat because it can handle it. It's maybe not smart to be in those conditions, and we don't typically choose to be out there when it's 45 knots, but you don't always get to choose what the weather's going to be. And so just that confidence that the boat can handle a lot more than probably we can handle. We get frightened, we get nervous earlier than the boat does. And then, of course, just the comfort. I mean, everything you would want. This boat has more appliances and convenience items than our apartments back in Stockholm.
The yellow curtains.
Hey, but they match the pillows though, so something we have to get new pillows
Your
too.
pillows are also disgusting.
They're so awful.
Yeah, without a doubt, the worst part is all of these systems are great. You know, you have 3 fridges, 3 air conditioning units, multiple chargers, davits to lift the dinghy, electric motors galore in order to control the sails. But being that it's the ocean environment, it's salty, it's corrosive, everything is shaken all the time. Those things all break down. So when I was looking for the boat, the broker told me, he said, yeah, when he's not cruising and the boat's just resting, he probably spends 35 to 45 hours a week working on the boat. And I kind of laughed at him, and he said, hey, you know, big boat, big problems. And that has come to fruition. I think he was lying to me, actually. I think 35 to 45 may be a bit of an underestimate, but you know, we're sorting the boat out and changing things, and that takes more time. But just keeping everything running in this harsh environment is probably the worst part.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, for sure.
So a lot of people ask us what the value of the boat is, and it really depends on the condition of the boat, what sort of upgrades were done to it. But if you were to look out there and talk to some brokers for a boat of this year for sale in the EU, you'd probably be spending about 500,000 euros for a boat like this. And then in terms of keeping a boat like this in good shape, if you were to do everything you're supposed to, which is what we do, the maintenance costs are usually around 10%, maybe a little bit more because the EU is expensive. So we spend roughly about 55,000 euros a year so far in terms of maintenance. That does not include any of the upgrades. That's just keeping everything aboard working properly and replacing things that have failed.
In terms of marina fees, that's something you can definitely influence yourself. So we probably spend around 10,000, no, 10.
You want to do this one again?
Yes, 10,000. So in terms of marina fees, that's definitely something you can influence yourself. But here in the Med, we have had a lot of crew coming on, and we had to pick them up different places. So we probably spend about 1,000 euros per month. Definitely expect that to go down when we come to the Caribbean, where there's a lot less marinas, and yeah, we'll probably have less crew there as well. But
are those straight?
Probably not.
fuel cost is also one of those that you can influence. You can decide to only go out when you are able to sail with sail. Here in the Med, put on fuel twice in the 7 months, so that's around 300 euros per month. Insurance cost is one of those that we decided to spend a little bit more on to get an insurance company that had good reviews. The insurance is dependent on which area you sail in. So here in the Med, it's 4,000 per year. But for example, for crossing the Atlantic, that will be 2,000 euros, and then a totally different scheme in the Caribbean and South Pacific.
I knew what it was supposed to cost, not just the initial purchase price of the boat, but the ongoing maintenance and all the costs associated with that. It is a bit of a shock every time we pull into a marina and have to have something done, what things cost. Things that were working just fine the last time we were at a marina, but sort of accepted that, and I'm a bit surprised when things don't break.
We don't have a house back home, so that's
So in terms of, expenses, I would say that living expenses in total, it's probably the same, if not less. I would say less than what we were spending living in Stockholm.
Scott, I have a final question for you. Do you always wear a shirt on your boat?
No, this is the first time in 3 months that I've worn a shirt.
Or it's by asking Andy, look in the viewfinder, do you like what you see? And he, for every text, he's like, oh, I like what I see. So yes, we have different boats, and each of us have put a different budget into our boats. But at the end of the day, we're all drinking beer at the same table.
And we're all working our butt off to maintain this lifestyle on our boats.
Especially you.
Yeah, I would argue the bigger the boat, definitely more work.
Yeah, I give you that.
And at the end of the day, sailing life is about what you want out of it and how far you're willing to go. So cheers to that.
Cheers
to that. Cheers, guys. I hope you enjoyed this very natural conclusion. I promise we did not stage it.
We'll cut that out.
So That's it for this mini-series on the cost of cruising. I hope that you've enjoyed those videos. If you have, don't forget to leave them a thumb up and consider subscribing. The question that we get asked the most is how much does it cost to sail around the world? And every time that I get this question, I have the feeling that the actual question behind it is, can I afford sailing around the world? Our goal with this mini-series was to show that you can cruise on any budget and on your own premises. So if you are an aspiring boat owner and live abroad, I hope that you found those videos insightful, and we really hope to see you soon around a marina or an anchorage. Until then, Holly and I tell you goodbye, and we see you soon for new adventures. Right? Bye! Bye-bye! Mie,
Yeah?
I think we forgot something.
What?
I think we forgot to talk about your bar budget.
Yeah. No, you don't want to know.